feel like Atlas, using my arms to bear the weight of my sadness and my legs to support the pressure of my breath. You could see me from a mile away. Not from the load I am carrying, but the way in which I carry. On a hot and sunny morning, under lovely, clear blue skies, a little worrysaurus was opening his eyes. He skipped along with happy legs across the golden sand and thought about the day that he had plotted, sketched, and planned. I am 7 years old, sitting at my desk in school. Everyone around me is scribbling down answers, except me. I'm frozen. But here's the thing, I know the answers. I choked. This is what happens during every single one of these oral math quizzes. I failed them all. Symptoms of anxiety may occur in physical sensations of fear, including increased heart rate, muscle trembling, and shortness of breath. Fear ambushes me. At first, I feel fine. Groggy from a late night of studying, but fine. And then, a second later, I'm not. If you have anxiety, I'm sure you've heard at least one of these. You're overreacting, just take a deep breath. Everyone has anxiety. And while it is true that, yes, everyone feels anxious sometimes, not everyone has anxiety. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, about 4.7% of US adults will experience a panic disorder at some point in their lives. To feel anxious before a big test or performance is normal, but irrepressible, uncontrollable anxiety is not. So today, through the novels On Edge, A Journey Through Anxiety by Andrea Peterson, My Name is Hope by John Mark Comer, the poem Heavy by Ari B. Colfer, the children's book The Worrysaurus by Rachel Wright, and articles from the National Institute of Mental Health, Healthline, and The Guardian, more than a deep breath, a program. Because I know that I'm overreacting, but I don't know how to stop. A lovely young pig, a delicious summer spread. Worrysaurus liked it when he knew it lay ahead, but he hadn't gotten far. You see, it hadn't been that long before his busy head dreamed of some things that might go wrong. Many students want to participate in class, but when they're called on, they freeze up. Other students, they want their work to be so perfect, they end up not turning it in at all. Teachers may label these students as lazy or uncommitted, but oftentimes the harsh reality is that these students are suffering from an undiagnosed anxiety disorder. I wasn't surprised when my very first second grade report card came home with a big U for unsatisfactory achievement in math. In fact, I even traced over the U in black pen as if to highlight my shame. My parents were stunned. My written tests and homework had come home nearly errorless, and I hadn't told them about those awful oral quizzes. I'd learned to carry the world on my shoulders, taught myself to lift others up with a straight spine and tucked chin, taught myself to carry baggage with calloused palms. Fast forward to the year after high school. 19 years old and wrapping up my first year of college. Something inside me changed almost overnight. At first, it was May. Life was good. I was soaking up the Baja sun, but something inside me turned dark. I was a nervous wreck, stressed out, scared, uptight, wound up, driven to insomnia by the what-ifs that plagued my mind. Suddenly, from nowhere, a lizard skittered by, shouting in a squeaky yelp and pointing at the sky. I heard a storm is coming. I think it's on its way. That really put a cloud above his worrysaurus day. Stressors that may make college students more vulnerable to anxiety and burnout in college include living away for the first time and perhaps feeling homesick, or the fact that they have more difficult coursework and new schedules to manage on their own, as well as new financial responsibilities. The list goes on. I took Kailani. Twice. Sometimes 3 times a day. It was no match for my terror. I worried constantly, and I formulated these elaborate plans, how I take leave from my job to care for my ailing child. I took videos of my daughter so I could remember her when she was sick. I neatly folded suicide notes into paper cranes, placed them at the bottom of my bag where they are crushed and forgotten, and under this weight I am feeling crushed and forgotten, and am I stuck here? I'm alone. I'm alone, and I'm trapped, and I began to think it would be easier to not wake up at all. I didn't want to die. I was terrified of dying. But I couldn't see any other way to escape how I felt. A storm, said Worrysaurus, when it's so hot and dry and sunny, but the news became a butterfly that flittered in his tummy. Should he find a place to hide, a cave for shelter, and while I am strong enough to bear these burdens, I think what I'm trying to say is that everything feels so heavy. My chest feels like it weighs 1,000,000 pounds, and I feel pressure on the back of my neck, and it takes effort to breathe. My hands are hang low and heavy and numb, and my entire body erupts in these waves of sensation. It's like I'm drowning, like someone is holding my head underwater as fear screams through my body. It's like I'm suffocating, like someone is holding my head in a pillow as I thrash about in violent panic. I can't do this. I can't be here, can't feel this, I can't make it stop. My anxiety has never felt like this. Although anxiety is one of the most common mental health disorders in the United States, it's also among the most treatable. Anxiety is many things. Anxiety is when your chest is tight, your head dizzy, and your breathing shallow. Anxiety is a paradox. To carry the weight of the world and still believe that I am not needed. The good news is that you don't have to keep feeling that way. Many people have found that their anxiety can be managed, at least in part, through holistic therapies and lifestyle treatments. So then he thought of something that his mummy liked to say. Oh, my little Worrysaurus, chase that butterfly away. So he put away his fears inside his Worrysaurus head. He freed his little butterfly for happy thoughts instead. I'll chase my fears away, he said. All is well and all is good and everything's okay. I'm tired of feeling this heaviness inside and out, and I'm beginning to wonder if there's a way I can feel good inside without using my ends as a way out. Eventually, I went to outpatient. I attended individual and group therapy, and the anxiety is still there. But for the first time in my life, I can manage these bubbling feelings. For the first time, I have the tools to mitigate them so that they don't wrangle with my mind. For the first time, I can actually live my life instead of having to claw my way through it. And for the first time in years, I let myself unpack. At the bottom of my bag, I found paper cranes, suicide notes that read, I am tired of feeling this way. I threw them away because the best way to feel lighter is to lighten the load.